Welcome to today's Mars Weather Bulletin, where we begin by checking in on the surface rovers before moving into the three-sol forecast. Perseverance is active at Jezero Crater, having driven 225.5 meters on Sol 1000, 941 of the mission to reach a total odometer of 44.36 kilometers, with that update being 2 days old. Today's climatological model estimates a high of minus 29 degrees, a low of minus 82 degrees, winds at 83 kilometers per hour, pressure at 7.9 millibars, and a dust optical depth of 0.67. Perseverance captures this NavCam image from Jezero Crater on Sol 1000, 942 of the mission. Curiosity is operational at Gale Crater, having driven 14.4 meters on Sol 4000, 977 of the mission to reach a total odometer of 37.99 kilometers. Today's climatological model estimates a high of minus 31 degrees, a low of minus 76 degrees, winds at 69 kilometers per hour, pressure at 9.5 millibars, and a dust optical depth of 0.75. Curiosity captures this NavCam image from Gale Crater on Sol 4000, 977 of the mission. Ju-Rong is dormant at Utopia Planitia, with its last published record showing 1.92 kilometers on Sol 347 of the mission and no later movement reported. Today's climatological model estimates a high of minus 53 degrees, a low of minus 89 degrees, winds at 96 kilometers per hour, pressure at 9.3 millibars, and a dust optical depth of 0.97. InSight is retired at Elysium Planitia, a stationary lander that never drove and has no traverse distance. Today's climatological model estimates a high of minus 30 degrees, a low of minus 77 degrees, winds at 64 kilometers per hour, pressure at 7.8 millibars, and a dust optical depth of 0.84. On Sol 617, daytime highs average minus 35 degrees, with Hellas Planitia location reaching as warm as minus 24. Very dusty skies dominate the horizon, with dust optical depth peaking at 0.97 over the Ju-Rong location. Winds gust up to 96 kilometers per hour near the Ju-Rong location. Overnight lows average minus 81 degrees, dropping as cold as minus 99 at Olympus Mons location. Temperatures remain stable while dust intensifies and winds strengthen across the later sols. At the Ju-Rong location, pressure is 7.9 millibars, visibility is 4 kilometers, and water vapor is 8.8 micrometers. Temperatures stay steady while dust levels fluctuate slightly over the next 5 sols. The crossings of Phobos and Deimos across the disk of Mars follow. Phobos makes its first crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 53 minutes. In Los Angeles, this crossing occurs between 11:42 in the morning and 12:35 in the afternoon, with Mars above the horizon. In New York, it happens between 2:42 in the afternoon and 3:35 in the afternoon, with Mars above the horizon. In London, Mars is below the horizon. Phobos makes its next crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 54 minutes. While Mars remains above the horizon in London, this transit takes place between 3:21 in the morning and 4:15 in the morning. Meanwhile, the planet sits below the horizon for both Los Angeles and New York. Deimos makes its first crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 81 minutes. The crossing occurs between 3:38 in the morning and 4:59 in the morning in London, where Mars is above the horizon, whereas the planet is below the horizon in Los Angeles and New York. Phobos makes its next crossing of the apparent disk of Mars, lasting 53 minutes. In Los Angeles, this crossing occurs between 3:01 in the morning and 3:54 in the morning, with Mars above the horizon. In New York, it happens between 6:01 in the morning and 6:54 in the morning, with Mars above the horizon. In London, it occurs between 11:01 in the morning and 11:54 in the morning, with Mars above the horizon. Mars is currently in the constellation Taurus. For observers in New York, Mars rises at 2:07 in the morning and sets at 5:13 in the afternoon. That is your Mars weather update. Stay safe, and we will see you again soon.